Hey everyone, welcome back to another Persona 5 Facts video. In today's video, well, with Haru coming up pretty soon, I want to take a look and revise my entire plan as well as kind of what I suggest. As always, whenever I do these kind of videos, what comes first and foremost is pick characters you like, who you think cool, what you like their abilities. Every character, you're able to test them out and see what you like about them, what you dislike about them. And I always go off a feeling. If you love the character, like I know so many people love Makoto Yuki, I know so many people love Yukari, Akihiko, etc. We all know I love Haru. I've gone on the record, and this was back in July, when they announced Barry. Just based off purely off the looks of Barry, I should have said, I don't care if she heals. I don't like heals the enemy team. I don't care if she does negative damage. I don't care about anything. She is an immediate A6 R6 character for me. I love the look of her. I loved her whole backstory, the whole gothic vibe of her. I love everything about her. I don't care what she does. I will use her for every single team. This is a single player game at the end of the day, and you can do whatever you want. But if you care about Guild Boss and SOS in that extent, you kind of do need to care a little bit. But with that, there's always two things I always suggest. I suggest having a good single target DPS, and I suggest having a good AoE DPS. And with our next character being Haru, Haru kind of covers one of that ends, where she is a good AoE DPS for that part of the game. She, and as well as another character that will be coming out later, which is Chinese New Year Ren, or Line Dance Ren, whatever you want to call her. Those two are going to be our best AoE DPS units all the way until probably Akihiko, and really until I would say Summer Puppet. Summer Puppet is a monster. But, of course, the Akihiko and Summer Puppet are probably like 6 months away. Probably 6 months for Akihiko, or maybe 7. And then we probably are looking at about 9 to 10 months away from Summer Puppet. So, having someone like Haru or Chinese New Year Ren as a good AoE damage dealer, I think is a really good idea. But of course, by that point, you guys could be looking at having an A6 on. A6 on is a monster in her own end because she's an A6 unit. She's going to do phenomenal. But with that being said, let's get on to our next characters. I kind of just want to run through the characters first and see what's coming up. So I want to have this link down below, but this is the banner history all the way up until Summer Puppet. All right, you guys already know what time it is. So you guys absolutely blew my subscriber count yesterday. I've gone up over almost 20 since I made my, actually I have gone up 20 since my video yesterday. So you guys for doing that. If you guys can do me another huge favor in this video, make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, because I'm trying to reach 3K by end of the month. So I got 30 days to reach 3K subs. So appreciate you guys. Also, let me know down below which characters you're excited for. All right, let's continue the video. After Summer Puppet, doesn't really matter because that's probably about a year away at this point. But what we're looking at right now is we're looking at Figure Skate or 5-star Mont. Then we have our Howler, we have our Kasumi, we have our Wen Vast, we have our Chinese New Year Ren, we have our Matoi, we have our Crow, and then we have our Turbo. That takes us all the way up until the start of 4.0. This is 3.0. This takes up to 4.0, where we got Ange, Makoto Yuki, Yukari, Akihiko, Barry, Summer Marion, and Summer Puppet. And then after that, that is where we get into our new units. More new. Our Katayama, and then of course where is she? Oh, she's right next to it. And then we got our Cosmic Yui. And then we also got our Mitsuru, and then we also have our Fuuka, which is kind of where we're at right now on TW. China did just have loose drop, so 5-star loose drop, and there's also 5-star soy coming. This is another video I'm going to be talking about in the future, though, is there's potential of dropping the twins. So if you guys have ever played Persona, Lavenza, right? I believe her name? Lavenza. So Lavenza is made up of the twins. So we see right here. So we have our picture of our Caroline and Justice. Ignore all the ads. I don't have ad blocker on right now because I'm too lazy to put it on. But this is what we're looking at. There's talks of them coming out after, like, even on coming out pretty quick for Christmas. And that's even partially coming out for us on global as well. So kind of wait and see. I want to talk about that in another video though, because I think that takes away, and it's also speculation. So I don't want to get super speculative in this video. I want to talk about more of what's happening right now. Of course, everything is subject to change, as you guys know. So I already talked about our AoE DPS, of course, being Haru, and our Chinese New Year Ren. That kind of takes us all the way until our 4.0, which I said Akihiko, and then Summer Puppet. So I would strongly suggest somebody to have, especially new accounts, pull your Haru or pull your Chinese New Year Ren. Chinese New Year Ren, though, I will say, once you get her A1, she is better than A6 on. So our A1 R0 Chinese New Year Ren will be better than our A6 R0 on. But if you don't want to go A1, then on, or you don't want Chinese New Year Ren, just skip her. Just use on instead. But this A1 is kind of disgusting. And then when we look at our Haru is perfectly fine at A0. She doesn't really even need a weapon, because her 5-star weapon, the whole reason why people want it is to mid-max her launch, her skill 3 right here. Because when you have 150% ailment accuracy, it gives you 60% critical damage. It's nice, but you absolutely don't need to min-max it. And her 5-star weapon just gives her a little bit of side damage, as well as when we're looking at the 17% more ailment accuracy. That's it. That's all it gets. That's why I say you can freely skip it. If you want to mid-max Haru like I will be, I would say grab it. Absolutely grab it. It's going to be a net positive. Probably about that between that 5 to 10% damage bonus. I'm gonna be doing my weapon testing as I always do. It also, I will say, it looks sick. It looks absolutely sick. I will give you guys that. Her weapon does look sick. If I can actually find it. Where's that axe? Where's Gilgamesh? Right here. So it gives you that 17% more ailment accuracy over her 5-star, which is what I'm using. A little bit more side damage and a little bit of attack. Honestly, the attack and side damage, who cares? It's mostly for the ailment accuracy. I 100% say. Then let's look at what's coming up in our 3.0. So starting things off with is our figure skate mod, or 5-star mod. She is about on par with our Makoto. So not Makoto Yuki, Makoto Nijima, and then also Mesa. She's just on par with those two. And then right after, who comes out afterwards, is our Howler. Howler is an amazing debuffer, but she is a standard character. But with that, she is also going to be in the 6-month jail. I'm still of the opinion that she can skip her, because most people are not going to be able to get her A1. We'll not be able to get her A1. Well, really, A2 becomes really good. And most people are probably not going to grab her weapon if they do. So A0, R0, I would say, is about on par if you have A6, R0, Vino. Vino is a single target debuffer. And then your Howler is a single target debuffer, but also with the capability of using AoE when we're looking at her skill 1 and skill 3 have an ability. So skill 3 can either be single target or AoE, depending on if you're using your skill 1 or your skill 2. And people are, oh, but what about fire team? It's only at A1. Because at A1, it increases foes' fire damage taken by 36%. That's kind of where she becomes really good for fire team. So if you're not going A1, fire team doesn't really matter. And then the other debuffer who comes out after Chinese New Year Ren, and is actually Chinese New Year Ren's best support, I would also just say she is a goated general AoE debuffer. It's our Matoi. Matoi does everything. She gives the defense, she gives the attack increase. She also, they will rework how technical works. So they actually reworked it. In the future, I will talk about another video. That will take an entire video by itself talking about how it works. But she gives the defense decrease. She gives the attack taken increase. She gives everything. And she's really good at A0. You don't need her weapon. You don't need anything. Her weapon will be helpful. And her A1 kind of makes it so that you can always use your skill 3 quite regularly. So going A1, pretty good for her. I'll probably go for A1 in the future, just like I'll go for A1 Chinese New Year run. But we could be using Arvino and Matoi instead of using Howler and wait for the 6-month jail to grab Howler. But of course, you grab Howler, which she will be a good single target and AoE. Absolutely good for that. After her, who comes out, is going to be our best single target DPS, and kind of why I would say we could absolutely skip. I kind of skipped over 5-figure skate mods because she's just on par with of our current single target DPS. But Kasumi at A0R0 can hit over 1 million, and this is also assuming that they don't buff her. They use current Kasumi. She is a monster. She will be a monster all the way until Makoto Yuki. Makoto Yuki will be our next, single target monster, but that's like a 5-6 month difference. And she's going to be our best single target damage dealer for quite a while. And as you can see here, she's the last single target DPS we get for this entire patch, or entire cycle for 3.0. Until we get, like I said, Makoto Yuki, and then we also get Barry. So Barry will be better, in my opinion. Barry is going to be the best single target DPS to get in the game just because of how good she is at A0R0. She is on par with every single current single target. This is, of course, subject to change depending on characters coming out. I haven't really looked at Luch yet or any of that, but I know he's AoE. But subject to change, of course, in the future depending on when people come out. Who comes out after Kasumi is considered our next must pull. It's our Windvast. Windvast buffs right here crit damage. Oh, wait, no. Where is it? Yeah, crit rates as well as giving crit damage. She is an absolute beast at everything she does. A lot of people say, well, don't you need her A1? No. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't need her A1. Her A1 definitely does help because it just makes it so that her wither is better, which her wither comes from winds of vitality. All it does is just when taking wind damage, increases that damage attack. It's not good. It's okay. It just doesn't matter. Also, A1 is only for single target fights. Well, what about under the umbrella? It just increases sweepers and thieves attack by 25%. That's like 400 extra attack. It's nothing. It's not even 10% extra attack total. It's like 5% extra attack. It's for this increases the main target's crit damage taken by 30%, and it now works for any element. It's good. You don't need it though. Absolutely don't need it. I've been running. If we actually look at what I'm running, I've been running Windvast with just her 4-star, and she works fine. Absolutely works fine. When using a persona skill to restore SP, increases users' crit damage by 11% for 2 turns. It's good. It's good enough. You could absolutely get her weapon. I would advise getting it in the future, but you don't need it right now. Going off the previous video I did yesterday, when they introduced, free 5-star weapons through Salamander coins, I would say get Windvast's weapon then. It's good. Absolutely good. So this comes into our next must pull. And then who comes out afterwards? I already talked about Chinese New Year Ren. I already talked about Matoi. After that, we go into our Akechi. Akechi is a 1 guild boss rotation kind of gimmick when they bring in damage sharing. Outside of that, Akechi is not good because of the fact that he works off of, he's a sub DPS who kind of stores characters, your main carries damage, and kind of just does it again. And that's only at when he reaches A6. I'm hoping they rework him and make him good, because he doesn't need buffing. He needs a whole rework for him to become amazing. Outside of that, he's just not good. I will absolutely say. That kind of wraps us up until we have Turbo. Turbo is, again, a really good support unit. She is kind of the only standard character I would say is worth pulling for and not going for the jail. Just because she is a 5-star support unit. She is probably, I don't know who's better overall, Cord or her. Probably for general use, you'd probably want to use your Turbo. So yeah, I would say Turbo's worth getting. Absolutely. And her weapon. Only standard character, I would say get her and her weapon, and you're good. Outside of that, no. Like every other standard character, I would say you're kind of free to skip. But of course, like I said, you can pull everybody. Next up, we get into our next must pull, and that's because it's a navigator. It's Ange. Ange, I don't think we need to say it all that much. She gives you pen. She gives you your attack. She also allows your main DPS to do 2 turns. So I'll give you an example. Where's a good current DPS? Actually, I'll just use. Where's a good DPS to look at? All right. There's actually no good current DPS that's actually good to show off and think about. So Makoto Yuki, how he works is that you kind of build up stacks of moon phase. You build up 4 stacks, and you're able to use your skill 3, Devouring Blaze, at 4 stacks. What Ange allows you to do, instead of using that once, you can now use it twice because she gives you an extra action. But during extra actions, you get to keep all of your buffs and everything. It doesn't count to take it away. So that's kind of why she's really good. And I would say she's the best navigator in the game. After that, like I said, Makoto Yuki. Makoto Yuki is a goated single target. Then we get into Yukari. I think Yukari is a skip. She just doesn't provide anything, and she's kind of just C support. And then we go into Akihiko. Already talked about. He's one of the best AoE. He's probably, I think, second in my opinion. Pre-Lush, of course. So I don't know where Lush stacks up compared to our Summer Puppet. After that, we get into what I would say is the best single target DPS, Barry. Nothing does better than Barry. Barry kind of works like Mesa. She works off of dots. So you build up stacks of resentment, and then you can kind of not pop them, but use them. Like do a bunch of stacking damage with your Hush at execution time. She also just has amazing animations. Absolutely amazing. After her, we go back into our Summer. So we have our Summer Marion, again, another must pull, I would say, because she gives, your crit damage, crit rate. She's just a good support unit. Grab every support character in the game. After that, it's Summer Puppet. This is kind of like another, either pick Summer Puppet or Akihiko for your AoE. Of course, if you want to do your element diversity, I think Summer Puppet is really good. She blows Fox out of the water, pun intended. After that, we get into your Katayama. As of right now, Katayama doesn't have a use. I know she can be used with Lush, but again, people are talking about a Lush hitting over 100 million or something around there. But that's also with everybody maxed out A6 R6, and that's with a A6 R6 Katayama. I think right now A0, she just doesn't have much use. I love her. I will be pulling her, absolutely. She looks amazing, and I don't care. I will use her no matter what. After that, we get into our Cosmic Yui. Cosmic Yui is an amazing character. Again, I would probably put her on par or maybe slightly worse than Makoto Yuki and our Barry. She's just a good single target. She basically just power crept Makoto Nijima. After that, we got back into our P3 reload with Mitsuru. I don't think Mitsuru's all that good. I think she's okay. She's another sub DPS. I do believe she's better than Crow. Of course, if you love her, grab her. She is fine to use. And I think she works really well when you pair her with Fuuka, because now you can kind of bring in your Mitsuru for a good turn, or bring in another supporting unit. So because how Fuuka works is that once a battle, or if you have her at A1, twice a battle, you can bring in another character and kind of trade them out, but it doesn't take away. It basically just gives an extra action, or bring in another character. So in one turn, realistically, I could be using Summer Marion, I could be using Winvaz, and I could be using Turbo with my main damage dealer, all in the same turn. So that's kind of why Fuuka's good. I do think she's overrated, but I do love her, and I will use her for every team that I want. And that kind of brings us up to everything that's coming out in the future. So for the last minute of the video, I'm just going to go over my recommendations once again. I do firmly believe that someone should pick up either Haru or Chinese New Year Ren for the little bit of the future, because it's going to be, after Chinese New Year Ren, it's probably about 4 to 5 months until we get Akihiko. And then if you don't Akihiko, it's going to be another 2 months probably until we get Summer Puppet. So you're looking at potential 6 months to get a really good AoE damage dealer. I would highly advise picking up Kasumi. She's going to be our best in slots single target DPS. She will blow Makoto Nijima, she will blow Mesa, and she will blow figure skate mons out of the water. Do so much more damage. And she, like I said, she'll be best in slot until Makoto Yuki or until Barry, which again, one of those two I would suggest picking up. Just like I suggest picking up either Akihiko or Summer Puppet to replace our AoE. Everything else after that, outside of those, I would say it's up to you. Of course, you know, saying pick up your Wind Bass, pick up your Summer Marion, and then pick up your Ange. If you care about Guild Boss and SOS, of course. If you don't care about those, pick up who you want. Now looking at my debuffers, I think you could very reasonably pick up Howler. I think she's a good pickup. If you want to skip her, that's fine. She is a standard unit. So you do have a potential after 6 months of release in getting her. And then we have our Turbo. I think Turbo, again, she's a support unit. I think picking up, nothing wrong with that. She is a really good unit. She is actually going to be Akihiko's best support for quite a while, until like Summer Marion. And then Matoi. If you're not picking up Power, I do think picking up Matoi is very, very worth it for your AoE, for AoE debuffing. So I think picking up Power or Matoi is definitely worth it. And then, of course, I already said pick up Summer Marion. I think outside of that, though, you can kind of pick and choose. I'm going to end the video there. It's been a very long video, and I appreciate you guys for coming by, watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye for now.